话一直呢没有怎么注意我的年纪，怎么一下我就到了30岁。
Time flies, and before I knew it, I had turned 30. Honestly, I never really paid much attention to my age before, but now I suddenly realize I've entered my 30s, and it makes me feel a bit caught off guard. This age isn't particularly awkward, but it does seem like I'm stuck in a place where I'm neither moving forward nor backward. So far, I still haven't found someone to spend the rest of my life with. Perhaps I'm destined to remain single for the rest of my life, and maybe living this way wouldn't be so bad either. Once, a fortune teller told me that I might get married late, and now, looking back, there seems to be some truth to his words. After all, I'm still not married even now. In fact, I don't have many requirements for my future partner. For example, age, height, education, and income are not really my focus. What I care about more is whether this person can choose me with determination and give me enough security and confidence in our relationship. I hope that when I need support the most, this person can step up and be there for me. However, the reality of finding someone who meets these expectations has left me deeply disappointed. I once had a relationship after graduation, but due to certain reasons, we eventually broke up. What hurt me the most was that when I needed his support the most, he chose to leave. At that time, I was filled with pain, and although I don't resent him, that experience still left me deeply hurt. Afterward, I went through a long period of depression and even lost hope in life for a while, questioning why my life was so difficult. However, time is a great healer, and I gradually came out of that shadow. On the surface, I still smile in front of others, but the loneliness and pain deep inside me are something only I know. I don't want to worry my parents and friends, so no matter how hard it is, I always smile and tell them, it's okay, after breaking up, the next man will be better. In reality, I was in a lot of pain at that time. I think I'm the kind of person who easily falls in love at first sight. If I don't feel a connection during the first meeting, it's often hard for me to develop any further feelings for that person. So many initial encounters just end without any progress. And now I find it difficult to be interested in or feel attracted to any man, to the point where I've even lost the desire to initiate conversations. Sometimes, just because of a single sentence or an unintentional action from the other person, I completely lose the desire to stay in touch. Maybe it's because I've been independent for too long, and it's becoming harder and harder for me to fit into a romantic relationship. Because of my work, I've seen all kinds of people and witnessed many of my girlfriends go through one boyfriend after another, while I always feel like I don't quite fit in. Now, my lifestyle is one of freedom, living alone. I eat when I want, sleep when I want. If I'm feeling down, I go traveling, binge watch shows, cook, or go shopping to distract myself. If I don't feel like going out, I stay home, lying on the couch all day watching romance dramas, watching those happy couples on the screen, and feeling like a voyeur, quietly observing other women's happiness. The longer I remain single, the less confident I am in my ability to form a lasting intimate relationship with a man. At the same time, I'm not sure if I can handle the complexities of family relationships. After all, I've heard too many complaints from married friends and seen examples of marital issues like mother-in-law conflicts, extramarital affairs, and even domestic violence. All of this makes me feel even more confused and powerless about future relationships. I know I have many strengths, but in this era where breaking up seems so easy, who would really take the time to discover and cherish my strengths?
哇，30岁了，未婚未育，过着最普通却也是最真实的生活。
I'm 30 years old, unmarried, and without children. Although my life may seem ordinary, it holds a sense of stability and genuine satisfaction. Without the burden of marriage or the busyness of raising children, I can wholeheartedly focus on myself. My daily routine isn't complicated, but it's filled with small pleasures that belong to me. In the morning, the alarm pulls me from my warm bed. Although I'm a bit reluctant, I still go through the motions, washing up, catching the subway, and starting a new day alongside strangers in the crowded train. My job isn't the easiest, but it gives me a sense of accomplishment. When facing heavy tasks and challenges, I often feel anxious or even complain, but this never shakes me because I understand that hard work is the foundation for living a better life. After work, I like to go to the supermarket, pick out some of my favorite ingredients, and go home to cook a simple dinner for myself. Even though I eat alone, I've learned to enjoy this quiet and solitary time. Sometimes, I'll take a break and order delivery, curling up on the couch to watch a few episodes of my favorite shows. This small relaxation makes me feel especially at ease. On weekends, I don't let myself get stuck in a monotonous life. I'll invite a few friends to go hiking together and enjoy the fresh air of nature, or go to the cinema to watch a good movie, enjoying moments of tranquility and immersion. Sometimes, I'll meet at a tea shop with friends and chat about each other's lives. Although it's simple, it's warm. Occasionally, I do feel a tinge of loneliness, especially when I see couples or happy families of 3. I can't help but feel a little envious, but this feeling quickly fades. I understand that everyone's life has its own unique rhythm, and I don't need to compare myself to others. My family sometimes urges me to get married, and relatives or friends may look at me differently, as if my life is missing something. But none of this affects me because I'm very clear about what I want. Marriage and children have never been mandatory options in life. I prefer to do what I truly want at the right time. Now, at 30, unmarried and without children, though the future is full of uncertainty, I have the confidence and courage to face it and live my life the way I want.
我83年出生，今年40岁了，单身没有小孩。
I was born in 1983, and now at 41 years old, I'm still single and have no children. I think, perhaps I will remain single for the rest of my life. Recently, quite a few people have been trying to introduce potential partners to me, but I politely declined, mainly because I'm not particularly interested in these kinds of meetups. Each time I have to get to know a stranger from scratch, which feels really exhausting to me. And if in the end, the two people aren't compatible, it's simply a waste of time. Today, the groceries I ordered were delivered to my home. I'm planning to make a delicious homemade meal, stir-fried celery and shredded potatoes, bean sprout pancakes, along with a bowl of nutritious millet soup. Just thinking about the aroma of these dishes makes me very excited. A while ago, I caught a bad cold, and some friends advised me to get married, saying that no matter how good or bad the partner is, at least when you're sick, someone will take care of you. But to be honest, I can't get married for such a reason. The marriage I want isn't about convenience or having someone to look after me when I'm ill. Besides, I'm not overly concerned about whether I can find the right man to marry or not. What I care more about is, if in this lifetime I can't earn enough money, can't achieve financial independence, can't drive the car I like, can't afford the things I want, or can't provide good care for my parents in their old age, that's what would make me feel miserable. In contrast, marriage and having children are all about fate, and I believe you can't force these things. Right now, I live alone in the house I bought in Beijing in 2016. I've been living here for 7 years. Most of the daily chores, I can handle myself without a man, except for moving particularly heavy items or repairing electrical wires. Other than that, everything else isn't really a challenge for me. Today's meal is all prepared, and it's full of the dishes I love to eat. The millet soup is not only delicious, but also nutritious. As for marriage, having children, and taking care of my elderly parents, I think these are all things that will happen naturally, and there's no use forcing them. What I can do is focus on living my life well right now while preparing for the future. Whether I get married or not, I always believe that working hard to earn money is the right thing to do. This way, at least I can be my own greatest support. Keep going.
大家好啊，我是91年34岁未婚的大龄剩女一哥。
Hello everyone, I was born in 1991 and am 33 years old this year. I am still single and unmarried, and I guess I would be considered a typical older leftover woman. I want to ask my fellow sisters in their 30s, what do you usually do after work? Speaking of which, ever since I crossed the threshold of 30, I found myself gradually enjoying being alone more and more. I no longer pursue excitement like I used to, nor am I filled with the same passion and energy as when I was younger. The hobbies I once enjoyed seem to have gradually faded away, and I've even lost a strong interest in food, let alone actively participating in any social activities. Now, I've become quieter, and more often than not, I choose to be alone. Actually, it's not that I hate socializing, or that I intentionally keep a distance from others, nor is it that I'm deliberately antisocial. It's just that the peace after all the hustle and bustle seems to bring more tranquility to my soul. I enjoy making myself a quiet cup of tea, lighting some incense, and sitting by the window, silently watching the scenery outside. Compared to going out for food, drink, and fun, I'd rather spend my time quietly like this. For me, this kind of tranquility is a sense of inner contentment and peace. Sometimes, I even think that if the future could always stay like this, allowing me to age peacefully, it seems like it would be a very beautiful thing. What about you, my fellow sisters?
What's your life like in your 30s? Please share with me.
40岁大龄未婚女青年广漂的一天。
Another ordinary day begins. I'm already 40, still on the journey of blind dates. Today, I'm preparing to meet a new prospect. He's a guy from Guangdong, never married, working in operations at an internet company, and a few years younger than me. Honestly, I used to have a hard time accepting younger guys, but nowadays, most of the men around my age or older are already married with children, so the options are becoming fewer and fewer. In the morning, I quickly tidied myself up. Normally, I prefer wearing pants, but today for the occasion, I specifically put on a skirt. Breakfast was simple because I was in a rush. The temperature outside is a sweltering 37 degrees Celsius, and the heat made me not want to go out, but I pushed through for the sake of the date. He drove over to pick me up, and we had already agreed to watch a movie together, followed by a meal. In the car, we exchanged a few words but didn't chat much, since the movie was about to start, and we hurried to the cinema. He bought me a bottle of orange juice with pulp and handed it to me, and then we started watching the movie. However, during the movie there was a bit of an awkward situation, and the atmosphere became somewhat uncomfortable. Originally, the plan was to have a meal together after the movie, but to be honest, I didn't feel anything for this man. So, I said I wasn't feeling well and decided to end the meeting early. Sometimes I wonder if it's me being too conservative or if the pace of this era is just too fast. In the past, when I met men I wasn't interested in, I would simply leave. But now, perhaps with age and having weathered more ups and downs, I've noticed that my tolerance seems to have increased. There are more and more voices around me suggesting that at my age, I should just give up on blind dating. After all, I'm past the so-called marriageable age, and the chances of finding someone might be slim. But even so, I still hope to keep trying to cheer for my future. I don't know if I can still hold on to hope for marriage.
我是80后，今年40岁了，单身。
I am someone born in the 1980s, now 40 years old, single, and with a job. But in reality, I don't like working, especially getting up early. I always enjoy days when I can sleep in. I can cook and used to do it often, but now my interest in cooking has gradually faded. I have no interest in marriage, don't want to date again, and definitely don't plan on having children. However, I do have a thought in my mind, that in the future, it would be nice to have a child who could take care of me when I'm old. I know that at this point, I'm already considered an older woman for childbirth. And right now, I still haven't met a man I want to marry. I have been in relationships before, but they all ended in breakups. I once worked hard, trying to prove that I was not inferior to others. I wanted to show my value through my efforts, hoping the other person would see it. But gradually, I realized that just these efforts were far from enough. I know how to run a household and take care of others. I have all these abilities. However, in the end, all these efforts did not lead to me and that man staying together. After that, for a while, I started to doubt myself, wondering if there was something wrong with me. Why is it that no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to do better? Am I really that inadequate? Lately, I have been reflecting on why society always judges people by such singular standards. In today's world, the first things people care about are whether you have a background and whether you can make a lot of money. From a traditional perspective, society expects you to take care of the elderly, manage a household, and keep everything in order. However, even if you have all these skills, if you don't meet the so-called success criteria, you will still be considered a failure. Sometimes, I really feel that maybe I am not good enough. After working so hard for so long, I still haven't found a man willing to spend a lifetime with me. Sometimes, I even think that maybe the final outcome is that no man will want me. And when that time comes, I might fully accept my fate and peacefully become a loser.
Today, I had a long conversation with a 40-year-old unmarried woman about the reasons why she is still unmarried. I asked her, "What has led you to be single and unmarried at the age of 40?" She briefly talked about her emotional experiences. She said that after graduating from university and once her job became stable, from about the age of 23 or 24 until she was 30, she was in a state of going with the flow. She worked while observing the men around her, always feeling that there would be opportunities in the future and that there was no rush to get into a relationship. In fact, this period is when a girl is in the prime of her youth, but she didn't feel much urgency. She was a bit lost about her future and didn't seize the moment. In this way, she unknowingly wasted her most precious years. Her first relationship started when she was 30. The relationship lasted for 3 years, from 30 to 33. Unfortunately, they broke up in the end because both she and the man felt that their feelings for each other hadn't reached the point where they could spend the rest of their lives together. She admitted that the feelings between them weren't deep enough, and perhaps they didn't like each other that much. So, at 33, the relationship ended. From the age of 33 to 35, she returned to being single again. During this period, she participated in a few blind dates, but they were all just superficial attempts. She didn't establish any deep relationships with any of the men. She described these experiences as being like a dragonfly skimming the water. She met some men, but didn't develop any further feelings. Her second long-term relationship started when she was 35, and this relationship lasted for 3 years, ending when she was 38. After breaking up again, from the age of 38 to 40, she returned to the phase of blind dating, frequently meeting new men. However, to this day, she still hasn't found the right person. After hearing her story, I felt very sorry. The most precious time of a girl's youth, between 23 and 30, seemed to have slipped away just like that. At that time, she might have felt confused about the future, not knowing what kind of person she wanted or what kind of partner suited her. It's also possible, as she mentioned, that she was too picky back then, focusing too much on the details, and in the end, she picked herself in her 30s. However, what I find even more regrettable is that she had 2 relationships in her 30s that lasted more than 3 years, and neither resulted in marriage. I believe that when a woman is approaching 28 or 29, she needs to be very careful when choosing a partner and shouldn't waste time. When you reach the age to marry, you should quickly decide whether someone is suitable for marriage. If someone isn't suitable, you should decisively move on and not drag things out. But in her case, from 30 to 40, she had 2 relationships, each lasting more than 3 years, yet she still hasn't reached the altar. In my opinion, at this age, when material conditions are mature and both people's ages are appropriate, it's not normal to have a relationship lasting more than 3 years without marriage. In most cases, after about a year of dating, you should decide whether to enter into marriage. So, I want to remind all girls, if your relationship has lasted more than a year, and both of you are at an appropriate age and condition, and you still haven't discussed marriage, you need to think seriously about it. Ask yourself, and ask your partner whether you really want to get married. If the answer is no, or if it's unclear, then you should decisively make a decision and not continue to waste the precious time between 30 and 40. As she shared her experiences, she also reflected on herself. She admitted that the biggest reason might be herself. Yes, that's true. The main reason is her. Now, it's too late for regrets. The best time has already passed. She knows herself that it's extremely difficult to find a partner at this age. What do you think are the reasons why so many women end up delaying themselves until they are in their 30s or 40s and are still single? Feel free to leave your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support is very important to us, and we will continue to bring you better content. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.